Tasks to improve reading skills. We've all experienced it. We finish reading a page in a book and have no idea what we've read. For most advanced readers, this is because they are tired or get distracted. They may read the passage perfectly but have no real understanding of the reading. As you know, reading skills and comprehension are an important part of achieving full literacy. If you know your class is struggling with reading comprehension, try some of the following activities. What kind of tasks help to develop reading ability? Predicting. To be a good reader, learners should set a goal for their reading. Therefore, good readers have a purpose for reading. Research has shown that good readers use their experience and knowledge to make predictions and formulate ideas as they read. This strategy also allows for more student interaction, which increases the student interest and improves their understanding of the text. The possible approaches that predicting can have are teaching modeling and predicting throughout the text, with partners, with a graphic organizer, or using post-it notes throughout the text. Strategies to use this task are using the title, table of contents, pictures, and keywords of the book, and to have students predict the specific points through the text, evaluate the prediction, and revise predictions if necessary. Visualizing. Another strategy that the good readers employ when comprehending a text is visualization. Visualization requires the reader to construct an image of what is read. Strategies to use this task: to visualize settings, characters, and actions in a story and ask them to make drawings or write about the image that come to their minds after visualizing the text. Making connections. Making connections is another strategy that can be used in the reading process by making connections. The learners can activate their prior knowledge and connect the ideas in the text to their own experiences. Reading becomes meaningful when the reader connects the ideas in the text to their experiences and beliefs and the things happening in the outer world. There are three types of connections: text to text, text to self, and text to world. After a short introduction made by the teacher, first, the teachers might ask students if they have ever experienced anything like the events in the text, so students can make text to self connections through drawings, making a chart, or writing. Then, students can make text to text connections through drawing, making a chart, writing, and graphic organizers. These text to text connections can be based upon how characters in the story relate to each other or how story elements can relate between stories. Then, students can make text-to-world connections through drawing, making a chart, writing, or graphic organizers. You might be wondering what the text-to-world is. Well, text-to-world connections could be done by comparing characters in a story to characters of the real life or comparing the content of the text to the world today. The last one is close reading. This is a simple one. As we know, learning to pay careful attention to a text is a skill that doesn't always come naturally to beginner readers. So, beginners must be taught how to look closely at a passage in order to glean the most details and thus gain a better understanding of the author's intent. Teaching to our reading beginners to reread a passage slowly and thoughtfully will help them better comprehend what they have read. Can we help our students to read critically? Actually, yes. There are certain activities that as teachers we can do to help our students to improve this skill. Number 1. Previewing. Previewing enables readers to get a sense of what the text is about and how it is organized before reading it closely. This simple strategy includes seeing what you can learn from the headnotes or other introductory material, skimming to get an overview of the content organization, and identifying the rhetorical situation. Number 2. Contextualizing. When you read a text, you read it through the lens of your own experience. Your understanding of the words on the page and their significance is formed by what you have come to know and value from living in a particular time and place. To read critically, you need to contextualize to recognize the differences between your contemporary values and attitudes and those represented in the text. Number 3. questioning to understand and remember. Hopefully, the students you have in your classes will ask you questions about the content of their readings, or at least you will quiz them on what they are supposed to be reading. These questions should be designed to help students understand the reading and respond to it more fully. And often, this technique works when the questions are relevant and appropriately phrased. When students need to understand and use new information, though it is most beneficial if you encourage them to write the questions that they are asking themselves as they read the text for the first time. With this strategy, they can make questions anytime, but in difficult academic readings, they will understand the material better and remember it longer if they write a question for every paragraph or brief section. Each question should focus on a main idea, not on illustrations or details, and each should be expressed in their own words, not just copied by other parts of the paragraph. Number 4. Reflecting on challenges to your beliefs and values. The reading that you do for this class might challenge your attitudes, your unconsciously held beliefs, or your positions on current issues. As you read a text for the first time, mark an X in the margin at each point where you feel a personal challenge to your attitudes, beliefs, or status. Make a brief note in the margin about what you feel or about what in the text created the challenge. Now, look again at the places that you marked in the text where you feel personally challenged. As a teacher, it's important for you to open your mind to the readings you are going to give in your classes and express them to your students. Number 5. Outlining and summarizing. Outlining and summarizing are especially helpful ways for understanding the content and structure of a reading selection. Whereas outlining reveals the basic structure of the text, summarizing synopsizes. And outlining may be part of the annotating process or it may be done separately. The key to both outlining and summarizing is being able to distinguish between the main ideas and the supporting ideas and examples. The main ideas form the backbone, the strand that holds the various parts and pieces of the text together, while outlining the main ideas helps you to discover this structure. Number 6. Evaluating an argument. All writers make assertions that they want you to accept as true. As a critical reader, you should not accept anything at face value but to recognize every assertion as an argument that must be carefully evaluated. An argument has two essential parts, a claim and support. The claim asserts a conclusion, an idea, an opinion, a judgment, or a point of view that the writer wants you to accept. The support includes reasons like shared beliefs, assumptions, and values, and evidence that are facts, examples, statistics, and authorities that give readers the basis for accepting the conclusion. When you assess an argument, you are concerned with the process of reasoning as well as its truthfulness. At the most basic level, in order for an argument to be acceptable, the support must be appropriate to the claim and the statements must be consistent with one another. Number 7. Comparing and contrasting related readings. Many of the authors we read are concerned with the same issues or questions, but approach how to discuss them in different ways. Fitting a text into an ongoing dialectic helps increase understanding of why an author approached a particular issue or question in the way they did. How can we encourage extensive reading? The value of this intensive reading procedure, with its focus on the teaching of discrete reading skills, has been questioned by some, who claim that teaching students reading strategies doesn't necessarily make them better readers. It is widely believed that people should become good readers through their reading, and that learning how to read should mean a focus of attention on the meaning rather than the language of the text. Extensive reading, an alternative approach. This involves students reading long texts or large quantities for general understanding with the intention of enjoying the readings. Students are allowed to choose the books they read depending on their interests, and there is not always a follow-up discussion or working class. In this way, students are encouraged to read for pleasure and should become better readers. The characteristics of an extensive reading approach. Reading material. Reading for pleasure requires a large selection of books be available for students to choose from at their level. Here, teachers can make good use of graded readers, and even setting up a class library is a good way to provide material for students, and because the books are kept in the actual classroom, there is a greater chance that they will be borrowed, and teachers also have more opportunities to refer to them during class. Student choice. Students choose what they want to read based on their interests. And if a student finds a book is too difficult or they don't enjoy it, they can change it for another one. Reading for pleasure and information. Often, students are put off reading when it is tied to class assignments. In an extensive reading program, the students are reading principally for the content of the text, and teachers can ask students about the books they are reading informally and encourage occasional mini presentations of the book and books reviews. This shouldn't seem like obligations to the students. Silent reading in class. Extensive reading shouldn't be incompatible with classroom practice and methodology. There are teachers who set aside a regular 15-minute period of silent reading in class. This silent reading has been said to help structural awareness, build vocabulary, and to promote confidence in the language. Extensive reading out of class. Teachers can do a lot to help students pursue extensive reading outside of the classroom. Having a classroom library and regularly encouraging students to borrow books to take home are some things which can help. If books are shelved in the classroom, students can also be given class time to browse and select books. Language level. The vocabulary and grammar of the books that students read shouldn't pose a difficulty. The objective of an extensive reading program is to encourage reading fluency, so students shouldn't be stopping frequently because they do not understand the passage. However, the books shouldn't be too easy, as this may well demotivate students who feel they are getting nothing out of the books. And actually, there's a warning. Reading becomes a chore if students think they have to stop and look up every word they do not understand in a dictionary. For this reason, dictionaries should be avoided while reading. Record keeping. If the teacher takes an interest and keeps record of what students are reading, then this can itself encourage students. If a note is also made on which books the students like, then the teacher can also recommend other books to the students. The teacher should be careful to explain the reasons behind the program and to highlight the benefits of extensive reading to them so that they know why they are doing it. Now, this is an important part because here we have the teacher as a role model. This is important that as teachers we can help our students to have a good time with books. If the teacher is also seen to be a reader by the students, then they will be encouraged to read. Teacher can talk in class about books that they have been reading, and if they are knowledgeable about the books in the class library, having read them, then they can make genuine recommendations to students about what to read. Motivation. One of the key factors to the success or not of an extensive reading program is motivation. Capturing student interest is the key. If the materials available are interesting to the students, then they will be far more likely to want to read them. As teachers, we must not forget our role. The teacher encourages and assists the students with the reading, which the students undertake during and or after the class. Occasional summaries that can be oral or written can help with this, as they show both that the students are reading and also that they understand what their books are about. The activities can also help students improve their reading or speaking ability. Above all, however, extensive reading should be a student-centered and a student-managed activity. And remember that as teachers, we should enjoy it with our students. I really hope you've enjoyed the tasks to improve reading skills and you can use them in the future.